All right, family, how's everybody doing tonight? Happy Thursday, Facebook Live time. Absolutely have been loving my feed today. Just scroll after scroll of people posting about the amazing Supreme Court victory we had today. Already did a video going into detail about my interpretation of that case. Feel free to look for that. We'll talk about it a little bit more tonight. Any questions you have, drop them down below. Cualquier pregunta que tienen, como siempre, pongan abajo. You can give me a huge favor. Get us started with a share so that more folks can come in the conversation. If you have the DACA questions, that's good. That's what we're here for. Anything that I can do to give back, we want to be able to do it. Absolutely 100,000% want to celebrate today. Want to be very clear that today was a victory. Today, United States Supreme Court came out and said unequivocally, Trump administration, you were arbitrary and capricious in ending the DACA program. You know what, Trump? You didn't even take into consideration the fact that maybe the work permit is unlawful to give them, but the protection and the promise to not be deported, that's within your realm. So how are you going to explain if you want to take that away? I mean, Supreme Court just slapped him in the face. An amazing week from the United States Supreme Court. A 5-4 decision, and we're going to get into that in a little bit more detail. The number one question I'm getting from people, and people want to know about the decision, we talk about that, that's clear as day, but then they want to know what? Can we do advanced parole? Can new people come into the program? So we're going to get into that as well right now, and would love to hear your thoughts and opinions, your predictions of what's going to happen with that. We'll talk a little bit more about some other stuff, DACA related and defund the police related as well. And, drop down any questions, comments you have. Before we get started, I must say a happy birthday to my mom. My mom's birthday is today. What a wonderful gift she gets. The victory of a DACA decision, and see the joy and happiness on everybody's face. So I love you so much, Mama, and happy birthday to you. And let's get going. So let's see what folks are saying already. Bendiciones, claro que sí, aquí estamos para servir. Isa, was great seeing you earlier today. What a historic day, so happy. I just can't tell people enough how amazing it was to be in front of the ICE building. I've gone into that office before with my clients and not come out with them. And come out and shared tears with the family when the person was taken into custody. More than one time, right? To me, that's the sign of the oppression and evil of the deportation machine right there at 2035 North Central. To go there, to share space with these amazing warriors who have been fighting this since before DACA was enacted to get some sort of protection, that have been leading, that have been in the forefront on a national level, getting arrested locally, getting arrested in DC, talking to state representatives, federal legislators, senators, doing everything. Individuals who do not have the right to vote in this country, yet they're more politically active than 99.9% of the population. It was an honor to stand next to those folks and to absorb their leadership, absorb their energy, that happiness, that joy. Such an anxious time we're living in this pandemic, and everybody thinking, including myself, the decision was going to come out differently. And we're able to be there at the epicenter of the oppression, the ICE building, celebrating today's decision. And the main point that was driven by every single person that I heard speak was, this is not the end. Great victory from the Supreme Court, but what we really need is that DREAM Act. We need a clean bill. It's already passed the House. Let's get it past the Senate. Let's get it signed. Let's move on with life and continue to fight for social justice in every other area that we're working on right now. Defunding the police, defunding ICE, defunding CBP, working on putting resources into our community. Had a great visit yesterday from Coach Solano. Thanks so much, Coach, for bringing over, I don't have it with me, the mask, the Solano No Limit Hoops mask. Coach Solano dropped some of those off. Why are we not funding programs like that versus funding ICE, versus funding the police, versus funding CBP, when we could be giving $250,000 instead of hundreds of millions of dollars to the cops to run an after-school, at-night program for basketball, for football, for baseball, to keep kids off of the streets, doing something productive, having positive mentors of color there present with them. Why don't we focus on that as opposed to giving the police more money? I don't know, but hopefully that changes soon. And here we have the questions coming in. Keep them coming. Are they taking new applications? Let's get into that, all right? Let's get straight into that. We have some happy birthdays for my mama. Always appreciate that. But let's go to the question, are they taking new applications? The answer to that right now is no, right? USCIS has not announced we are taking new applications. Now, whether or not people think this decision mandates they take new applications, that is up for debate. And I've been trying to read about that all day, all night, all day. It's only been day so far. It feels like night when I wake up so early. So let's go into the decision and provide a framework here, all right? So here's the opinion of the U.S. Supreme Court released this morning, and we're going straight to the end part of the majority decision. So very clearly, we do not decide whether DACA or its rescission are sound policy. The wisdom of those decisions is none of our concern. How poetic is that? Look at these judge philosophers there, saying that's the decision for the legislators, for the president, not for us. What they do say is, right, that those cases, the appropriate response, because they didn't follow the proper procedure, is to remand so DHS may consider the problem anew. What does remand mean? Remand means send back to the lower courts, right? So that's what that part says. And here's the sentence that I've been relying on all day. The judgment in NAACP is affirmed. The judgment so these were three cases that Supreme Court took and kind of made them into one case to issue the decision on DACA, but they originate from three lower courts, right? So they're relying on the NAACP case and saying we're going to affirm that. In the Regents case, we're vacating in part, reversing in part, Batalla Vidal, et cetera, et cetera. So the language that jumps out to me, all three cases are remanded for further proceedings consistent with this opinion. This is not saying this is the definitive end-all decision of this case. This is saying we're remanding back for subsequent work on these cases because they were essentially motions for preliminary injunctions and they weren't terminating the case. The cases aren't over yet. So because they're still active and because it says here, in my opinion, the judgment is affirmed, what do I want to do? Well, I want to, as an attorney, go back to that NAACP case and say, what does it say? So here we have the April 24, 2018, you see the date up here, document number 70 filed in the case. This is the NAACP case against Trump. In this decision from April 24, 2018, the judge does say, the DC judge, District of Columbia, he does say DACA needs to come back, new applications as well, advanced parole as well. When this decision came out, it was like, what? This guy's going even further than everybody else. So this is a pumped up, amazing decision, right? However, when this decision came out, the Trump administration filed a motion with this same district court judge asking for what? Asking that this judge follow the rest of the judges that have said renewals only, no new applications, no advanced parole. So the judge in that case issued a decision. Remember, this one's April 24th, 2018. Go over to this one. This is a different document now, document 86, filed August 17th of 2018, where in this decision, the judge does in fact come down and say, we agree with you, government. All right, let me get down to the bottom. Don't look too much. I don't want you to get a headache until we scroll all the way down. But what they essentially say is, we do agree with you, government. For the foregoing reasons, the government's motion for a stay pending appeal will be granted in part, and the court will stay its order of vacatur as it applies to initial DACA applications and applications for DACA-based advanced parole. Right. So in my opinion, as an attorney, when I see a higher court, be it the U.S. Supreme Court, the Arizona Supreme Court, remand to a lower court, I want to go to that decision from the lower court and say, what was the last decision in that case? This is the last decision in that case. The last decision from Judge Bates was saying, all right, government, I'll concede that with you. I'll go there with you. I'll change my original order so that only people who were in the program can reapply, and then no new initial people, no advanced parole. That's where my thinking and understanding comes from. Again, I love to be wrong. When I'm thinking too limiting, when I'm thinking too restricted, please let me be wrong. Because we've already gotten calls, and I've gotten messages on Instagram, on Facebook, text messages. Can we do new ones now? Can we do advanced parole now? We got people lined up and ready to go if that's the case. And I hope it is, right? And let me come back to the original decision and give you a little insight there. Footnotes, if you go to law school, you understand footnotes are important. Why they put them in such small type at the bottom as opposed to in the body, I don't know, but they're still important. And let's look at this one. So this footnote number 7 here, our affirmance of the NAACP order vacating the rescission makes it unnecessary to examine the propriety of the nationwide scope of the injunctions issued in the other case. Now, this was a huge issue for constitutional law scholars and those that like to follow the Supreme Court, because it's not common, or not supposed to be common, to have a nationwide injunction. So a district court judge in D.C., in San Francisco, in New York, generally is not supposed to say, I'm going to issue a decision that applies to the whole country. They're supposed to issue decisions that only apply to their area. If you're Northern District of California, that area. If you're DC, that area, et cetera, et cetera. We saw in a lot of these DACA cases, they were issuing nationwide injunctions. People were looking at this case who didn't even care about DACA or immigration just for this issue of the nationwide injunctions. And this is a punt. This is a straight up punt. Boom, we're getting it out of here. We don't want to talk about that today. Let's just affirm the decision in NAACP and move on with that. So, but maybe here, right, maybe the Supreme Court here is saying they're talking about the original NAACP decision where it's open to everybody. I don't know, right? But I could see someone interpreting it that way. There are certainly groups here. Let's get over here. United We Dream, an organization that I love, great organization, is clearly stating here that the orders of the Supreme Court were to reinstate DACA. You can go here, you can put your name, information, bam, and tell them why they should start. So they're fully of the belief. I saw something from Penn State Law School, Supreme Court Clinic. They come out and said, yes, decision today means they must accept they must accept advanced parole. The program's back as original. So, legal minds are differing right now. Let's hope for this more generous interpretation, and let's hope USCIS comes out and takes some leadership and tells us what to do and what not to do. Now, brings us to our next topic of conversation, which sufficiently pisses me off. If you are telling people, document preparers, shady attorneys, give me some money, I'll send off your application today, I hope you're right. Again, I'll eat my words. I hope I'm wrong. I hope tomorrow USCIS issues something saying, bring them. We're ready for your new applications now. But if you're simply trying to take money from the community without doing the proper diligence to make sure our community is going to be protected, we will call you out. We will let people know what you're up to and what you're doing to our community. So be very careful with folks right now who, maybe they're having a tough time financially. Absolutely understand COVID, it's hurting a lot of people's pocketbooks, but never a good idea to take advantage of the community. And I'm sure there's some people that are well-intentioned and saying, I truly believe this decision today says the applications can be accepted. Okay, totally understand. I'm not knocking anybody's legal interpretation. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm simply saying, let's be cautious. Let's see what USCIS announces, And if USCIS announces they believe it's restricted, like what I'm talking about, right? If they just say, look it's only renewals, then let's sue USCIS and let's say, no, it's not what the Supreme Court said. They said this. District court judge in Arizona, somewhere else, decide that the program needs to be reapplied again. Or the Judge Bates, the NAACP goes back there and says, Judge Bates, please clarify, does USCIS have to start taking these initial applications as you wanted, or are they only to do renewals? I do have a fear. If someone told me right now, Ray, please send this off, well, you're sending your information to the federal government that you're here without status, your address, your parents' names, all this stuff, without being sure yet that the program is open to you. Let's hold. Let's wait. Let's wait to see what the decision is from USCIS, right? Well, we got some folks in here commenting. Let me get you up here. Let's see what Vanessa Frank is saying. Such a great moment. See how people can make changes when they are documented folks. Make this happen, not citizens, documented folks. Absolutely. Licenciada Vanessa Frank, friend of mine from law school, now practicing there in the great state of California. Couldn't agree with you more. Like as I'm saying, I believe these DACA amended folks are 100% more politically active than 99.9% of the documented or the U.S. citizen population. And that's what, same for advanced parole right now. I'm still doing it on pause. I am on record as officially stating with my office, the great Aaron Lopez Anchondo and others here. Aaron's always helping us out everywhere. He's here right now. He's tired as can be. He's been out every single protest, doing legal observing well into the middle of the night and in the heat of the day, and was out there again today. And we said, hey, advanced parole comes back. We're taking an office trip, office retreat, so we can get that advanced parole. So hopefully that happens and we can make that happen. And let's see what other folks are saying. How you doing, Dalila? Hope you're still on vacation and having a great time. Claro que sí, mi placer. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Primeramente, Dios va a aceptar nuevas aplicaciones. Claro que sí. Es lo que nosotros queremos, 100% seguro. Queremos que ellos ya empiecen a tomar esas aplicaciones nuevas. Tantos jóvenes especialmente que ya graduaron de la prepa, ya están empezando sus vidas en trabajar o siguiendo su universidad y deben tener la oportunidad de aprovechar otra vez, o aprovechar la primera vez de un permiso de trabajo y una promesa de no ser deportado. So, estamos esperando que USCIS nos manda la información oficial, si van a aceptar nuevos, si van a aceptar petición de advance parole o no. Yo no estoy mandando nada hasta que tenemos esa respuesta. Y si no estamos de acuerdo con lo que ellos digan, pues ya es tiempo de poner demanda o preguntar a los jueces en esos casos que ya existen por clarificación, porque el Corte Supremo dijo, básicamente ya están las manos otra vez de los cortes abajo para seguir con el caso. Okay? So keep the comments coming, ladies and gentlemen. DACA scholars are also saying AP and new apps are okay. Absolutely, a lot of people. There's a lot of people right now that are saying new applications, advanced parole is back. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm just saying I want that to be the case, and I hope that is the case. But let's slow the roll, so to speak, right? Let's just see. Let's see how USCIS responds to the decision today. They are the agency that would grant DACA. So what good does it do to send off an application to USCIS who's going to come back and say, rejected, not eligible, we're not taking these. Let's see what they say first. The moment they say, bam, we're open, send those new applications, and we're hitting another video saying, here's what USCIS said, here's what the documents you got to get together, here's what you got to prove, let's go. And let's get started. Same with advanced parole. Absolutely hope this is the case, and we'll of course keep you updated to see how that goes. And la lucha sigue, dice mi amigo Aron. And when do you think USCIS will post something on the website about new applications and advanced parole? I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't hitting refresh on their page. I have been, right? I'm just waiting to see if they issue some today, if tomorrow. But I'm unfortunately obsessive compulsive and keep hitting refresh, then go to the Twitter feed, then try to figure out what they're saying. We got nothing yet. Hoping sometime tomorrow, but it might take them, well until next week if they want multiple attorneys to look at it and give their opinion before they issue something. So right now we'll remain cautiously optimistic until that happens. All right. Now, we're not going to switch gears. We're still talking about DACA. All your questions are welcome, right? Keep them coming. Oh, there we go. Now I'm seeing the ones above. Are they taking new applications? We got that. Thank you, Luis. Hope everything is well. Appreciate it, my man. Hoping new people can apply. Yes, we are as well. Now let's talk about another DACA-related subject real quick and keep the comments coming, folks. So let's go back over here. We have that. I already showed you that. And let's go to our friend Maxima Guerrero, which means Maxima the Warrior. She posted this on her Instagram. Sheriff Penzone sends her an email. Today's decision by the U.S. Supreme Court to uphold DACA affirms protections for those deserving them. Something about criminal. What are you talking about? Okay, I support creating a lawful and expeditious pathway to citizenship for DACA recipients. And Maxima's response here is, Penzone for Sheriff sends DACA recipients like me to ICE and sends an email to how he supports DACA. He got direct calls asking for my release while I was at the 4th Ave and refused to lift the ICE hold even when there was no probable cause. That is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. A Superior Court judge said no whatsoever probable cause. Remember, you need probable cause to actually be arrested. The charge, right, is BS. The City of Phoenix Police has now come out to say, I can pull that one up right now for you too. Oh, our bad. We should have charged them with a misdemeanor. And Sheriff Penzone, knowing no probable cause, being reached out to by the community, doesn't take any action and allows ICE to take Maxima and the other DACA recipients and everybody else, and the other person arrested who wasn't even at the protest, to ICE custody to start the process of deportation proceedings. This is the prime example why we want ICE out of the 4th Avenue jail. Someone with DACA, someone who's undocumented, someone who's a permanent resident, deserves to have the process played out. It's called due process. We love that. That's a foundational principle of our Constitution. They deserve the due process to have their criminal case played out. When thug cops falsely arrest and make up charges against somebody, they should be able to have their day in court, present their defense, and no charges have been filed, so there's nothing to defend now. Criminal case is over. Yet ICE is still there. ICE still takes the person. ICE still puts ankle bracelets on. ICE still says, we're going to take you to the judge to be deported. ICE still sends people to COVID-filled detention centers because they are in 4th Avenue jail at Sheriff Penzone's discretion, and because when they see a Class 5 felony for rioting, they think somebody must have did something really wrong. Otherwise, the police wouldn't have arrested them. They don't factor into the fact that police lie, that police make things up, and police get things wrong, which is exactly what happened in this case. So DACA's around, DACA survives, ICE remains in the 4th Avenue jail. We need to get rid of them and not just be sending emails, Penzone, with your statement. We want to see your actions. We want to see ICE out of the 4th Avenue jail now. All right? That is exactly the reason why there's a difference between local and federal governments. Let us live our lives, keep the feds out of the 4th Avenue jail. Thug cops, yes. Penzone's our Arpaio Light, yes. Right? I don't want to be monitored. Don't monitor me anymore, Mr. Monitor and your team. Those are free resources you're getting, man, to get rid of racism in your department. Those are free resources you're getting from experienced individuals who can help you make the department better. And you want to run away and hide from them? You don't want to be overlooked by anybody who has more experience than you and can give you guidance and insight in how to change a department rife with racism? Come on, man. Ridiculous. Aun si esto no termina, ellos necesitan un camino a la residencia y ciudadanía. 1000%, 1000% de acuerdo. Eso no es el fin. Lo que pasa, si hay nuevas aplicaciones o no, de todos modos necesitamos un Dream Act. Necesitamos el Dream Act now. ¿Ok? Lo que queremos con apuro. Tenemos otras preguntas aquí. Thank you. Calor, frío, noche o día, siempre para todos nosotros. Dios le bendiga. You're the best abogado, Ray. Very kind. Thank you so much for esos kind words. Really, really appreciate it. And honestly, it's just an honor. Today was one of those days. Today, there's some days that are great, and you just think to yourself, man, it's such a blessing to be an attorney. I'm so grateful to be able to work alongside so many amazing people who have fought for so long and to see a victory. Today's one of those days where it feels good and where you walk at the ICE building and good things are happening as opposed to your clients be taken in and deported. So important that we keep that energy going, we keep flowing, we celebrate today, and we continue organizing tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, first thing, we keep going and we demand the DREAM Act. It's not enough to keep the work permit and keep those going every 2 years. We need much more than that. All right. Cualquier persona que tiene pregunta, con seguro ponga ahí abajo. Yo le voy a dar breve respuesta en español, lo que estaba diciendo. Perdón si estaba esperando mucho tiempo cuando estaba hablando en inglés. Always in English. Feel free to throw down more questions or comments as well. Lo que escuchamos hoy del Corte Suprema es completamente increíble. 100% victoria en contra de Trump. Dijo claramente el Corte Suprema, usted violó la ley presidente Trump en la manera que usted quitó el programa. No dijeron que DACA es legal, que DACA va a estar viviendo por el resto de la vida. No, que estamos felices hoy, pero a la misma vez tenemos que recordar lo que dijeron es que vamos a regresar el caso a los cortes donde empezó, los cortes de distrito, para seguir peleando el caso. El caso no ha terminado. Y el presidente Trump, Departamento de Seguridad Nacional, tiene otra oportunidad a explicar el caso, ¿verdad? Eso viene claramente de la decisión de la Corte Suprema. Aquí dice, the appropriate recourse is therefore to remand to DHS so that it may consider the problem anew. Estamos mandando el caso otra vez al Departamento de Seguridad Nacional para que puedan reconsiderar la decisión otra vez de nuevo. ¿Y por qué dijeron eso? Hay cosas muy excelentes aquí. Primero, hay un punto bien claro que están diciendo el presidente. Usted no tomó nada en cuenta que realmente tiene el poder. Es legal para usted para decir que esas personas que no tienen esos delitos, que llegaron cuando eran jóvenes, pueden ser protegidos de ser deportados. A lo mejor no pueden tener el permiso de trabajo, pero usted nunca tocó la tema si ellos podían legalmente quedar aquí con un orden de usted de no ser deportados. Tiene que pensar en eso. También dijeron claramente, presidente Trump, usted no consideró lo que se llama los intereses de los gente que tiene DACA, que ellos están viviendo aquí, tienen niños, están en escuelas, están trabajando, de quitando el programa tan rápido en 2 años, cuando expiró su permiso de trabajo, no era suficiente tiempo para que ellos arreglen sus cosas cuando todo el tiempo estaba esperando ese permiso de trabajo del gobierno. So, esos 2 argumentos increíbles en contra de Trump, básicamente está diciendo, usted Trump de seguro quiere poner argumentos en frente de los cortes durante una elección que usted sí quiere que la gente que tiene DACA sean deportados y usted piensa que es ilegal para que usted dé un orden diciendo ciertas personas no pueden estar deportados y usted, señor Trump, piensa que 2 años es suficiente para que termine ese programa cuando por todos los años Ellos estaban esperando su permiso de trabajo y basaron sus vidas en este permiso que ellos tenían. So, si Trump quiere terminar el programa, sí puede. Otra persona me dijeron, ay, para abogado, pero mañana Trump puede quitar el programa otra vez, ¿verdad? Puede poner más razones. Sí es cierto. Pero el Corte Suprema, ¿verdad? ¿Cuántas páginas estamos viendo aquí? 64 páginas, muchas páginas, dijeron claramente, mira, aquí están los argumentos fuertes que usted no pensaba. Piénselos bien si usted quiere hacerlo o no. Y si él quiere hacerlo, ¿qué va a pasar? Otra demanda, otra decisión, 3 años que duró casi para llegar a este caso a la Corte Suprema, a lo mejor otros 3 años con DACA, mientras que peleamos otra vez Corte Suprema, y ellos ya han dicho, nos han dado un ojo en lo que ellos van a estar pensando, y es mucho a nuestro favor, ¿verdad? So, muy, muy bueno. ¿Okay? Me encanta la sesión de hoy, lo que están diciendo el Corte Suprema en contra del presidente Trump. So, defund police, absolutely. De seguro estamos hablando de Roberts, es el juez que escribió la decisión. Habló bastante fuerte de que el presidente no ofreció una buena razón y al proveer una razón después, no cree que fue legítima. Absolutamente de acuerdo. La decisión de quitar el programa, ellos tuvo que tener la razón cuando ellos hicieron la decisión, no inventar cosas después diciendo aquí están los nuevos argumentos, aunque ellos tenían chance de hacer eso. El juez en el caso de DC dieron esa oportunidad de poner nuevos argumentos, lo hicieron. El jueces aquí también tomaron esos en cuenta y dijeron no. Arbitrary and capricious, ustedes no están dando razones buenas y nosotros ganamos hoy 5-4. The amazing, extraordinary civil rights icon in the state of Arizona, Daniel Ortega, always blessed to have his presence even for a few seconds, says what we need to be saying over and over and over now from here on out. We have time to beat Trump in November. We can win. 100% de acuerdo. Nosotros sí podemos ganar esta victoria en contra de Trump. Ya tenemos que enfocar nuestra energía en sacando él la presidencia para entrar Biden y el Biden puede empujar más una Dream Act para que ya terminamos de hablar de permisos de trabajo cada 2 años. Ya es tiempo, tenemos victorias de la Corte Suprema. Esta semana 2 victorias grandes en contra de Trump. Ya es tiempo de seguir empujando a nuestra comunidad a salir a votar. Cualquier persona que puede debe decirle que ya debes ir a votar en noviembre. Hay tantos Dreamers, tantos jóvenes. Yo quiero que cada persona que dijo felicidades hoy a los de DACA, cada persona que compartió un artículo, cada persona que hizo like en un artículo, habla con 4 personas que son ciudadanos que no son tan activas que usted es, porque yo sé si usted está viendo eso y usted es muy activo en la comunidad, y preguntan, por favor, por los DACAs que no pueden votar, pero que siempre están en las calles, siempre están en las protestas, en las marchas, haciendo mucho lucha. Por favor, votan en contra de Trump, votan por Biden para que Trump no entre otra vez por 4 años más. ¿Verdad? We could win both chambers, Congress, and pass the DREAM Act. We have the chance here in Arizona. Ladies and gentlemen, I had the privilege of being on with our hopefully next Senator Mark Kelly earlier in the week. And he asked me directly, hey, is there any chance the Supreme Court comes out 5-4 the other way? And I said, I don't think so, Mark. I think it's pretty clear. So I was wrong. Mark, if you want to call me and talk some smack, I'll gladly receive it because I love being wrong in this instance. I thought it was come down 5-4 against us. Came down 5-4 for us. Now, if we can get Mark Kelly in the Senate, get the numbers up in the Senate, have control there as well. We already know we can get it passed in the House. Let's do it in the Senate. Biden is the president. Signed. Deal. And everybody's saying, well, that's it. Obama had the opportunity to do that too, and he could have done that in his first term, and we had both House and the Senate. True. So let's not let history repeat itself. right? Let's get folks elected and not hold back. Let's keep the pressure on them, demand a commitment this be done in the first 100 days, and have the follow through to make sure that it does happen in the first 100 days, or we get back out in the streets and do what we already know how to do and wreak havoc, which is how, ladies and gentlemen, we got DACA in the first place. We got DACA because Dulce Matus was out there, Dulce Matus undocumented at the time, getting arrested at a time when it was unheard of to get arrested, right? There was no DACA. There was no protection. And you're still doing civil disobedience to make that happen, forcing the Trump administration to do something. That's how it happened. So if we get a majority in the Senate, if we get Biden elected, we need to keep putting the pressure on. We need to keep coming with the fire as we have been for decades, once and for all, get it passed. I saw the great Judy Flanagan today at the press conference, and I remember probably my first DREAM Act related thing was seeing her with the Wilson 4. You know, what year was that in? 2002, 2001, something like that. And the advocacy that she's been doing. I know Dr. Maldonado went out there as well, you know, with Emilia Banuelos and the crew to advocate for the DREAM Act probably 15 years ago to DC. I mean, this has been it might even be longer than that. Doctor, let me know if you remember how long that's been that you were out there advocating for the DREAM Act with the great Emilia Banuelos and company. I don't know if Judy was there as well. Sorry if you were, Judy. But it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. The opportunities that we have now to make this happen. And she thinks 2003, so 17 years ago, they were out, you know, protesting in favor of the DREAM Act. You know, took a bus all the way to D.C. and make that happen. And we got to keep doing it. We got to get them elected. We got to focus on that. Absolutely 1,000%. Put the pressure on. Start loading the buses up if they're not going to follow through with what they got to be doing. Danny says, even conservatives can have a heart. That is absolutely the truth. And in my world, too, of doing the criminal defense, you know, a lot of the prosecutors that we work with are often not considered, you know, liberal, progressive, even Democrats. But every now and again, we can get a good decision like not prosecuting, not moving forward with things, right? So feel free, folks, keep dropping down the comments, dropping down the questions, and let's make sure that we can keep making it happen. Even non-citizens can make change. So imagine what citizens can do. Let's go. Absolutely. You don't need, you know, people tell me about letters for cases, letters for Maxima's case. Do I have to be a citizen to write a letter? No. Heck no. You have to be a good storyteller to write a good letter that's going to move a judge. I haven't been in front of a judge yet that requires the letter be from a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. Anybody who wants to write a letter can write a letter. You write that good letter, it's going to move somebody. It's going to create that change. You can do the same thing with anybody in the community who has the ability to vote, who has the privilege to vote. We often forget about that. I get choked up just thinking about the people who have sacrificed and suffered and fought for the right to vote and the right to protect our vote, and how much has gone into that in decades and decades of struggle, and how oftentimes nowadays we just take that for granted. But we have to keep that in the focus, keep that in the center, and keep moving forward. All right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got to say for tonight. Any other questions, comments, please drop them down now. Again, just a wonderful day. Ended up with saying another happy birthday to my beautiful mama. Always grateful and appreciative for all the sacrifices and struggles you made for myself, and my two older brothers, and my little sister. The example that you set for us, we try to reach that each and every day with our own children. Love you so much, Mama. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. And thanks so much, everybody. We will see you next time. Have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend. Thanks so much.